Circles.Life, the telco offering no contracts mobile arrangements, has announced a major fund infusion. Its investor is Warburg Pincus. That's a New York-based private equity firm with over $58 billion worth of assets under management. And to tell us more, we're joined on Skype by one of the co-founders of Circles.Life Telco, Abhishek Gupta. Good evening, Abhishek. We've seen some reports that this investment has put Circles.Life closer to becoming a unicorn. So what is the amount that Warburg Pincus has injected in this time? We understand that it's above the $50 million mark.
Well, let me start by saying it's a significant amount. And what we're looking for with this investment amount is to actually continue down the path of chasing down our vision, our dreams, which is to revolutionize the telco space worldwide. We started with Singapore, we launched in Taiwan and Australia last year, and we hope to expand to more countries this year. For us, numbers are sometimes vanity metrics. The more important thing is the investment from the right source? And is that something that allows us to go down the path of achieving what we had hoped to achieve when we first started Circles? And Warburg Pincus actually really helps us do that.
A significant amount you mentioned, but how big is it in the record of Circles.Life's fundraising efforts here?
So this is naturally the largest round that we've had. It's a Series D round, and Series D rounds, as you know, tend to be a certain size, certain range. So that's the range we're looking at. And this is not too atypical of Warburg's typical investment. So, you know, it's very easy to just look at their past record, the typical range of investments that they make. Another way to look at the investment would be, what are we going to use this for? And we're going to use that investment amount to actually grow the business in Taiwan and Australia to get to where Singapore is, and perhaps greater. In Singapore, we hit more than 5% after 3 years. And a business like ours needs very little market share to break even. So we hope to do that. Plus, we hope to launch a few more markets. And apart from that, of course, there are many other services that Circles has launched, actually, in Singapore. One of them, which is really taking off now, is this polling game. We've done something with discovery of events. You know, all of these things are going to be pretty relevant, especially given the kind of information that as a telco we are sitting on top of. So, you know, we are hoping to leverage the significant investment into these 3 major areas.
And to the point about expanding overseas, you mentioned those 2 markets there, Australia. Did you mention Thailand as well? Thailand and Australia?
No, I mentioned Taiwan and Australia. We
Taiwan
launched in Taiwan middle of last year.
All right.
That's
so
right.
For
we launched in Taiwan middle of last year. Yeah.
As far as your efforts there are concerned, can you give us some details about the progress that you've made so far? Because you also mentioned last year that you wanted to hire more engineers here in Singapore.
That's right. So we continue to do that. We've hired more engineers here in Singapore, which happens to remain the epicenter of all the work that we do. So all the development work continues to happen here. In Taiwan and Australia as well, actually, in all of these markets, we're going after digital data-savvy consumers. And there's a commonality across the world, actually, not just these 3 markets, when it comes to digital data-savvy consumers. They have similar needs, they have similar wants. They dislike the status quo for the same reasons that, you know, regardless of which geography they're in. So in that sense, we went for the same subscribers as Singapore, the digital data-savvy consumers in Taiwan. We provided them with a service which was completely digitally available, completely online, without having to go to a store, without having to pay bills personally, while having the same flexibility that we provide in Singapore. So from that perspective, exactly the same segment. And we've had tremendous growth, actually. The Net Promoter Score for us in Taiwan is actually positive 40 to positive 50, actually, the latest scores. And if you compare that to what the Net Promoter Scores are for the rest of the market, it's the same as Singapore. The traditional telcos are going at -10, -20. So that massive gulf that existed in Singapore between us and the rest of the market, that exists in Taiwan as well. And Australia, again, is no different. Same high Net Promoter Score, same high growth. So, you know, pretty excited so far. And I think Warburg's investment is an endorsement of that growth as well as what we've shown so far.
Exciting times for Circles.Life. But one quick final question before I let you go, Abhishek. This novel coronavirus is a top concern right now, and it's going to be for the foreseeable future. What is Circles.Life doing to adjust right now?
So I think, firstly, as citizens of Singapore as well as corporate citizens, I think it's a let's put it this way, I think it's a grave time. At the same time, we've all lived through the SARS period, and I would say Singapore has adjusted really well compared to the SARS period. When it comes to Circles, we are very careful about how we gather together as a company. We, of course, are doing the most of the things that Ministry of Manpower has guided us to, and I think there's a lot more guidance this time, so we're really grateful for that. But I think we need to work together in solidarity. There are so many things that will get impacted if we don't do this right. So I think we're all working together with the government to make sure, we pass through this difficult period.
Work together to beat this, we certainly must do. Abhishek, thank you very much for talking to me. That was the co-founder and director of Circles.Life Telco, Abhishek Gupta, with details of a new infusion of investment.